Seriously, was I the only one who was thinking of the good, the bad, and the ugly theme while watching this movie? I don't think I was. Hateful Eight is a new film from Quentin Tarantino, Tarantino's 8th film overall. And The Hateful Eight is about 8 people who come together during a blizzard in Wyoming. One of them is bringing this girl named Daisy Domergue to be hanged at Little Rock, Wyoming. They all get trapped in this cabin in a blizzard, but somebody isn't who they say they are, so now it's just a whole movie full of tension, crazy dialogue, and intense awesomeness. Seriously, Quentin Tarantino makes really great movies, and they're awesome, and he proves it with The Hateful Eight. He proves that he's still got it because he's so good at telling stories that it's just, even when the movie, it feels like it's dragging on for too long. Like Inglourious Basterds was 2.5 hours, Django Unchained was 2 hours and 45. This is 3 hours and 7 minutes. The movie never felt like it was that long. You know why? Well, it's because of the characters. The characters in this movie, here's the thing about the characters in this movie. Characters in this movie are likable, but they're all awesome? When does that ever happen? Never! And that's what I like about Quentin Tarantino. It's like even the vilest, most vicious character in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Take Calvin Candy in Django Unchained. Calvin Candy was the biggest, vilest, racist, probably most racist, I should add, dirtiest piece of douchebag shit that ever walked this planet. And he turned out to be a very, very, very well-developed villain. And I'm not just saying that because he was played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio did really good as Calvin Candy in Django Unchained. I'm saying that because it was really well-developed. Tarantino knows how to develop characters. Each one has their own backstory, and it's really interesting to kind of like try and piece the puzzle together as the movie was unfolding. Character's good, really, really, really good acting. Samuel L. Jackson steals every scene he's in, and he might share a scene with Kurt Russell, who steals every scene he's in, who might share a scene with Walton Goggins, who steals every scene he is in, who might share a scene with Michael Madsen, who steals every scene he is in, who might share a scene with Jennifer Jason Leigh, who steals every scene she is in, who might steal a scene with Bruce Dern, who steals every scene he's in, who might steal a scene with Tim Roth when you get the point by now, but he steals every scene he is in. Seriously, what happened to Tim Roth? The last thing I saw him in was The Incredible Hulk. This is his comeback. To me, this is like the Tim Roth show. Tim Roth, to me, gets Best Supporting Actor. I seriously, when this trailer first came out, I was like, is that Christoph Waltz? I was like, holy shit, that's Tim Roth. Tim Roth in this movie was awesome. He was my favorite character next to Samuel L. Jackson and Walton Goggins. I was like, you are the man, even though I seriously hate you. And the tension in this movie it's so awesome. The first half of this movie is like all tension filled, and with that, it's kind of like Clue. You're trying to piece together who the one who says they might not be who they really are is. It could be any of the 8. It's that scene from the trailer where Kurt Russell's just like, one of these guys or 2 of them may not be who they say they are. And it plays out like Clue. You're just trying to figure out who it is, and it could be any of the 8. That's the thing. There's no clues to tell you that it's this guy or it's this guy. No, you're left guessing for the whole movie. That's why this movie is so full of tension. You're just like, if somebody says something wrong, they are going to die, and they are going to get it bad, and they will not see the light of day tomorrow. Kind of took a while for me to get into this movie, but once the tension stuff started coming in, I was like, oh yeah, we're in for an action-packed throwdown at the end. It was so over-the-top violent in that Tarantino way that it was really, really cool. This movie had an intermission in it as well, and honestly, it really didn't feel like it was 3 hours and 7 minutes. I felt this went by like a good 2.5, 2:45. I think that's how it is if there's no intermission and no long overture. But Tarantino wanted to make this like a classic Western, like the old movies used to be made in the 50s and 60s when they had overtures and intermissions. And with that, I thought it was cool. That's why I wanted to see the roadshow version of this movie before it left theaters, because I was like, yeah, I gotta see this movie. I want to see how that's done. And it was awesome. I don't care what those stupid critics say. The Hateful Eight was awesome. It's proof Tarantino still has it. It's a very tension-filled movie, and you're interested for that reason. It's like trying to figure out a game of Clue. It's just like, who did what? Who's going to do what? The characters are really interesting. The dialogue is awesome. The tension is awesome. There's a lot of great build-up to this movie, and it pays off to a great conclusion. Guys, The Hateful Eight is excelente. Alright, so here's a question for you guys. What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie ever made? Mine, Django Unchained. Sorry all you Pulp Fiction lovers out there, but to me it's just Django Unchained because it's one story. There's no linear story. You know, it's just one story. And it's awesome. With a great villain that I referenced in this video. Django Unchained, what's yours? I want some feedback. Drop me a comment in the comment section below. And for more news and reviews on movies, movie trailers, video games, and TV shows, like me on Facebook at Alex Madden. Follow me on Twitter at @AMadMovieMan. And if you're on YouTube, hit the big red subscribe button and welcome to Maddenville. I can cut my legs off and call me Shorty. That's just one of Walton Goggins' awesome lines in this movie. Greatness.